Everyone, please take your seats. We're going to begin. I'm so happy to see everyone here. I'm just taking a moment to take it all in. And I just want to say that there's no right or wrong way to feel. We feel how we feel. You know, if you want to laugh, you want to cry, you want to curse, whatever it is. I've had all those moments in one day. But I'm just so glad to see everyone here. I wrote a script. I may not always follow it exactly, but I wanted to get something on paper to kind of keep me on track. And with that, I'll begin. First, I just want to start with a land acknowledgement. We would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the territory of the Canarsie and Munsee Lenape people who have stewarded this land throughout the generations. We thank them for their strength and resilience in protecting this land and aspire to uphold our responsibilities according to their example. We gather to celebrate our colleague, friend, little sister, chosen family member, Sriyanka Ray. We do this to organize our collective grief, find community with each other, and celebrate her life. Right. Along with some tears, there will be singing, there will be dancing, there will be music and live performance. There also, and most auspiciously, will be some sipping of libations in her honor, AKA drinking. It's what she would want, right? We encourage you to write notes in the guest picture book located at the table near the entrance. This is something that we plan to send to her family once it's filled out with notes and whatever you want to write in there to her family. Also, we are live streaming this event for her family and friends in India and around the world. Hello, family. To her parents, Ishita and Dr. Raja Ray, and her sister, Sanjana, also known as Roma, and other members of the Ray family, we send you our love and deep condolences, and we honor your presence here. We are here. As I said, there's no right or wrong way to feel here. So let's bring our full selves, as we know Sriyanka would have, to remember and celebrate her together. With that, I'd like to bring Aram Jaffer up to the podium. She is the COO of BRIC. Please come, Aram.
Welcome. Thank you all for being here. On behalf of Wes Jackson, BRIC's president, who expresses his regrets that he was not able to make it, I want to welcome all of you. When I look at this photo of Sriyanka and when I think of Sriyanka, I fondly remember all the excitement that was in her eyes and her face when it came to speaking about her passions and her work. Get her to talk about what she loved, her projects, her films, and what she was working on, her face would just light up. We had a chance to speak about what she was working on, our shared interests, and our shared passions. We talked about how we would be in the front row of the Ali Sethi concert. She loved what she did, and she loved that she was able to do it here at BRIC. Through the BRIC Lab film and TV program, Sriyanka led by serving those around her every day. She served our community by helping them share their stories, reflecting it back to them, and amplifying those unique stories beyond them and to the world. This gave independent documentary filmmakers a platform to create, celebrate, and show their work. She also did that with the Be Heard Amplified program by going into Bronzeville and Bay Ridge and helping Muslim communities share their experience. I mentioned earlier that Sriyanka had a lot of love for her work and for BRIC. And I want to say on behalf of the organization that BRIC loved her too. I hope she knew that, and I hope she felt that, and I hope she continues to know that and feel that wherever she is. She has impacted all of us. We celebrate that, and we celebrate her. Thank you so much.
So I really do believe that Sriyanka knew that, and she felt that. You don't stay at the same company for 8 years unless you're feeling that kind of love. Over the last few weeks, I've had the chance to gather and learn more about Shri, as we affectionately called her, from her very close circle of friends, some of whom are here tonight. She called me Kai Kai, and I called her Shri Shri. There were things I already knew about her, like what a competent journalist and filmmaker she was, a hero giving voice to people in our communities. She and I connected over culture, her Indian heritage, and my Trinidadian one, with ancestors who migrated to Trinidad from India. We even talked about traveling there, and she would help produce a film about whatever we found. But there were things I didn't know about her. Really cool stuff, like I learned that she was creating a film back home in India entitled Vanishing Island, about how climate change is greatly affecting that community. Her love of amplifying community voices extended wide and deep. She loved Harry Potter and was a Slytherin. In our meetings, she was always very frank, with a snarky comment or two. You know what I mean. Very Slytherin, right? So Shri Shri. She loved the Indian goddess Kali. One of her favorite colors was green, which is the heart chakra. She loved sunflowers and purple chrysanthemums. And I just learned so much more, and it felt so good to just be in community with her people, her chosen family. As you look around, you will see these things among us, enveloping us as we remember her essence and strong spirit. And I believe she's here with us tonight. She's been showing up all week. And now we invite others to share remembrance statements. I will share the first one. This is from a program that Sriyanka led called BRIC Lab Film and TV from the 2020 cohort members. This was the first BRIC Lab Film and TV that we did. And it was a trio of filmmakers, Martina Sankson, Juliana Curry, and Livia Chebub. And they created a film called Yoria, The Rising Forest, which because of Sriyanka's passion and support for them, has gone on to do a lot of great things and get into a lot of great film festivals. And I hope they're watching from Brazil tonight. In Candomblé, a Brazilian religion of African origin, the Orum is the place of the gods and the dead, and that Aea represents the earth, which for Yoruba tradition is a marketplace where humans gather to exchange and to promote reciprocal encounters. We are certain that Sriyanka will be received in celebration at the Orum after her beautiful visit to the Aea, where she taught us so much about acceptance, interchange, inspiration, art making, talent, and kindness. We met Sriyanka in 2020 after returning from an immersion in the Amazon forest to film our first feature film. After months of hard work looking for ways to move forward with an independent film in such a challenging industry, we were selected to BRIC's first film and TV residency, and Sriyanka, alongside the entire BRIC team, welcomed us with such tenderness and acceptance, being one of the first people to recognize the potential of our film and to support ourselves. We are so grateful for having met her and for her passionately empowering us to tell our stories. Her legacy will live on with us, inspiring us to continue making films that matter and broaden views on humanity. Unfortunately, sorry. Whew. I'm just keeping it real, y'all. So now we're going to move on to some of the remembrance statements. Not everyone could be here. So for those who are here, they'll read their remembrance statements from the many kind of professional groups and places that Sriyanka was involved in. The first one we wanted to be from Presidency College, but unfortunately that didn't happen. That was her undergrad alma mater. But we know that they hold her dear and they're mourning her as well. And with that, I will welcome the next speaker to the stage, Andrew Ned Carney. I hope I didn't butcher that. Welcome.
Hi there. So I'm here speaking on behalf of the BRIC Lab Film and TV cohort 2022 to 2023, which was myself, Mansi Kong, and Ashko Hua. And just remembering that one of the first things that Sriyanka did was invite us to a screening of The Rising Forest, the film she was so proud to have championed, and getting to see that and see the work that they had accomplished really started us off in such a positive way. Now to this statement. Sriyanka had such a bright and warm presence, such a kind and inviting spirit. She was funny too, and honest and genuine, always beaming a light, an everlasting light that continues to shine through to this day. We feel tremendously lucky to have gotten to know her through our BRIC Lab Film and TV cohort. Alongside Charlie and Kai, Sriyanka provided warm mentorship, encouragement, and supported us at every step of the way. We were each in different stages of development, production, post, and finishing our films, all while continuing to lead by example with her community-based filmmaking practice. She clearly embodied the spirit of community and neighbor in so many ways. And she was always excited to make new connections between us and other people, and excited to see what we could all achieve together. She made us feel comfortable in new settings and was always so generous socially. I remember feeling at times some imposter syndrome, and she was always there to reassure me and anyone else that we belonged here, that we deserved to be here. At our last gathering together for our BRIC residency screening event, Sriyanka kept the laughs and positive vibes and supportive energy going from the second we arrived all the way through to the end of the night. On stage, she hosted with such care and poise and truly made it a celebration of community as well as filmmaking. These moments will be deeply cherished as we move along in our own filmmaking journeys, and we're so grateful to have had the opportunity to become close with her, to hold on to the joyous memories we shared, and to remember her through her films, through her friends. And Sriyanka shined brightly on everyone she came across, and that spirit can live on in all of us. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Julie Sturm, and I'm a colleague of Sriyanka at BRIC. It is my honor to read the following statement from the South Asian Journalist Association, written by their president, Maithili Sampath Kumar. We at the South Asian Journalists Association express our condolences to Sriyanka Ray's family and friends. Her investigative film, The Sweatshop of Wall Street, was a finalist in the Outstanding Story by a South Asian Journalist in North America category for our 2017 awards. The thread throughout her work of giving a voice to those often stereotyped or misrepresented was a testament to the purpose of our organization, as well to the breadth and depth of her portfolio. We hope her legacy continues to inspire future generations of South Asian American journalists. Good evening, I'm Chitra. I'm here representing Bichitra Collective. In April of 2021, Sriyanka was one of the first in a group of women and non-binary filmmakers that would later call themselves Bichitra Collective. And they came together in the wake of COVID's second wave in India to organize, to make sense of the chaos, and provide comfort to fellow artists in India. Sriyanka was one of the first to offer support. She was in Kolkata then, at that time witnessing the horror around, and already she was raising funds for medical aid. Supporting Indian artists was a cause so close to Sriyanka, and so along with other filmmakers, she rallied support, and we were able to raise about a little over $10,000 in less than a month to support 20 grassroots filmmakers.
This was also the beginning of a beautiful journey of friendship, collaboration, and community building for all members of Bichitra Collective with the powerhouse that is Sriyanka Ray. Many of us were very fortunate to have met her, to call her our friend, and all of us have her to thank for her many offerings to Bichitra Collective. 2021 was a year of losses, but it also birthed this sisterhood, and Sriyanka wanted to celebrate it. Anyone who knows Sriyanka knows her love for a good party, and she started our tradition of virtual holiday parties, which brought together members from India and the United States to share their achievements, their struggles, and then forge a path forward as a collective. And at the first party, she shared the need for distribution of films of underrepresented filmmakers from India.
Hi, I'm Hemal. I represent the Bichitra Collective. Sriyanka, I recently had an opportunity of meeting Sriyanka, and she quickly became my friend. This is from Bichitra. Sriyanka was passionate about representing and access to opportunities for grassroots filmmakers. When Bichitra Collective launched its first documentary grant and fellowship late last year, it was Sriyanka who made a video introducing the fellowship. Our community organizer and offering herself wherever she was needed was who Sriyanka was. When Afghanistan was pushed into chaos, she created a link between Bichitra and the Video Consortium to help Afghan women filmmakers.
Sriyanka was every part of the being that Bichitra Collective is. But we recognize that, her loss isn't ours alone. She belonged to many communities that were enriched because of her presence, because of her kindness, because of her brilliance. We grieve, but we also celebrate her with all of you. And thank you, BRIC, for creating this space. Nothing can fill the gap that she's left behind, but as a collective, Bichitra will be starting a new grant in Sriyanka's honor that hopes to bring together communities that she was active in, including the Brown Girls Rock Mafia, and those who can carry on her work of building a just, a kind, and an equitable world. We'll forever hold Sriyanka in our heart and the work that we do. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lulu Min. I represent the Brongo Duck Mafia community. Brongo Duck Mafia is more than a group of creative collaborators and professionals to network with. For many of us, Brongo Duck Mafia is a second home, and our fellow members, sisters, all on a journey together. In June, we unfortunately lost one of our dearest. Sriyanka was a mix of sunshine and sass. She was bright, she was beautiful, she was full of life, and she was joy itself. She cared about her community, she loved deep conversation and late nights with friends and new and old. She enveloped you with her wisdom, humor, and passion. She was incredibly smart, creative, and leaves a legacy of impactful work. Personally, it was an honor to be her friend, her sister in arms. I'm wearing this kaftan, which she brought back for me from Calcutta. When people ask me about this dress, I tell them about her. There's so much we have planned for and we didn't get to do, but I'm so grateful for all the wonderful times and conversation we had at dinners, at gatherings, at film festivals. Her glowing presence still moved through the soul of Brongo Duck Mafia, and we know her contributions to our community. To our film families at BRIC TV and Bichira Collective, her impact will continue to reverberate for years to come. To commemorate Sriyanka's memory and commitment to women filmmakers in India, Brongo Duck Mafia and Bichira Collective will co-sponsor one 2024 Bichiran Film Fellow in her name. Please keep an eye out on their website for more information forthcoming. We're so proud of what she has achieved. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Julian, and I'm here on behalf of the fam here in New York, a group of friends that kept Sriyanka company and built community throughout the better part of a decade. This is something that I wrote during the religious ceremony that her family so kindly allowed us to zoom into. Sriyanka, whose lips would glow in bright reds and violets, moving like flames, uttering incantations as we sat on Crown Heights rooftops, gazing at the sunset. Who would mischievously say, "Here's the thing," while flicking a Marlboro before diving into delicious stories only we were privy to, and whose poetic descriptions of Calcutta made me nostalgic for a place I'd only visited through her eyes. Sri, whose heart would race to the beat of a Bushwick dance floor, hopping, skipping, laughing. Goddess Kali's feet stomping out the demons, the brutal monotony that could have been life in New York City, but wasn't thanks to you. Storyteller, her heart and soul taking over streets, chronicling entire Brooklyn neighborhoods. 921 St. Mark's Avenue will forever be yours. Farewell, little sister, storyteller, witch weaver. I watch the smoke rise. A crown of flowers and candles surrounds you. Kali's divinity embraces you as you reunite with your grandmothers and your favorite poets. Tongue out, heart bursting, foot stomping the ground. Your bold brown eyes unafraid, staring into eternity, the universe, the next story, the next adventure. Thank you for 11 years of unconditional love and friendship.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Sriyanka will want y'all to make some noise now. This is being live streamed, so act like you here. My name is Fred Brown, and I am a supervising producer here at BRIC and also the Diversity and Equity and Inclusion Liaison for the institution. And this is Baru Nave. She is, well, she can speak for herself, but she's a longtime friend of the family, and we're here to read the statement from the family.
Hi, everyone. I'm Varu Navi. Varu, as most people know me. I've known Sriyanka my whole life. She is my best friend, my soul sister, my partner of crime. I know Roma used to get jealous of this. I know you're watching.
You're watching, Roma.
But it is what it is. I'm sorry. Anyway, this statement is from her family, but more specifically from Roma, who, if you know Sriyanka, or if you even heard of her, you know Roma is the most precious person to her in the whole damn universe. So this is from her to Sriyanka, for Sriyanka. When Sriyanka was a little girl, she'd grab a hold of the video camera our dad had just bought, force me to be the cameraman as she thrust her makeshift microphone, a deodorant bottle, at every member of the family, asking them in a deadpan reporter's voice what war meant to them. A year later, when I finally made my way through all the secret 7 books she'd insisted I consume, she'd take me along in her shadowing people missions. There we were, Peter and Janet, Sherlock Holmes and Watson, trailing behind unsuspecting people because something they'd said or had done had piqued her interest. Later, when I grew a bit in age and inches, which she hated, I asked her why. It's because people fascinate me, she said. They have these ordinary and extraordinary stories, all of them just waiting to be told. Now I realize she'd always been a storyteller. A few months ago, when she was visiting me in Mumbai, we held hands and watched the golden sunset on Versova Beach. Out of nowhere, a little boat floated towards us, its flag outlining the setting sun, and a child, spotted a loved one on the vessel, sprinted forwards to what turned out to be a magical reunion. Not surprisingly, my sister had already had her camera out and was busy filming. When I looked at her in surprise, it's like she almost knew that the moment would happen before it did. She just shrugged. These moments just come to me, she said. And they did. For as long as I can remember, people of all ages and from all walks of life flocked to her, desperate to tell her their story. Her first best friend was a 70-year-old lady we called Dadi, who would regale us with the very real stories of life, love, and loss. I'd have playtime, but she'd spend it curled up with War and Peace, discovering the world of rock, discussing life with the adults, and just sitting with her feelings. But somehow, she never let herself fall into any specific category. By age 11, or even before, she'd already become the life of every party. If you've been fortunate enough to know Sriyanka, you already know how she lights up a room by simply walking into it. That whichever center seat she's plonked herself on is the one where the crowd is at, entertained by her many, many stories of adventure. Sometimes she'd seek it out, but more often than not, it would come to her. Whether it's the shimmering lagoons of Tobago, the hunt for the after party in Belize, finding cozy spots in the glittering Hawaiian, or just simply walking along the Malecon in Havana, her mantra remained the same: follow the music. But if there's one thing that trumped her love for travel, it was her burning passion to tell the important stories. I deemed it giving a voice to the voiceless, but she didn't think of it like that. Never think of them as victims, she'd say. They are empowered to share their journeys. One drunken night in Sri Lanka, I told her that she should be the one in front of the camera. With her gravitational personality, she'd be a dream for directors and producers. She'd own any stage. But it was never about fame for her. It was always about putting in the work, representing the communities on a global scale, and doing her bit to make the world a better place. Look at Dad, she'd always say. He literally saves lives. Look at Mom. She works relentlessly to help people across social orders. There's a bigger purpose here. We're meant to change the world.
Someone called her, quote, a collective soul the other day. She's been the best sister, the best daughter in the world. I'll never know anyone like her. But even my family, at the peak of our insurmountable grief, have realized that she's always been for the people first. This January, she spent her time off traveling to a, quote, vanishing island in the Sundarbans, right?
Sundarbans.
Sundarbans. I did rehearse this. An almost forgotten mangrove in the outskirts of West Bengali to understand the plight of people who won't have their homes tomorrow. She wanted to use her platform to share the story so that she could help get them the funds that they needed to save their home. In 2021, when the Sundarbans and the rest of West Bengali was ravaged by Cyclone Amphan, she started a fundraiser to help support the communities. Her being her, she raked up thousands of dollars and went on ground to assist in recuperation work, all the time serving as an anchor to our family in the battled times and anxieties that came with the pandemic. Watching thousands celebrate the indelible legacy at Celebrate Brooklyn Festival in Brooklyn was electrifying. Trust her to give us a reason to smile and to have our hearts burst with pride, even as we lie here shattered. Her friends, who dropped everything to fly all the way to Calcutta, across the world, to comfort us at this soul-crushing time, and further is a further testament to the enigma that will always be her. Her BRIC family, who is now our extended family, has been nothing short of wonderful. We may not be able to be here today physically at this memorial because coming back to New York will just make it way too real. But we are absolutely there in spirit, and so is she. On behalf of the Ray family, thank you, BRIC, and thank all of you, friends, family, loved ones, supporters, community, all of that, social groups, who are out here today to celebrate the powerhouse that Sriyanka will always be. And thank you for carrying on her legacy and light within you, as we all will do in this lifetime and every lifetime thereafter. Thank you.
I just want to say, Sriyanka loves a party. So if you have a drink, raise it to her.
Cheers, toast, and we'll have one a little bit later at the end, but toast, a pre-toast to Sriyanka. Yes. Namaste.
Hi.
Oh, hi. I'm Rebecca.
I'm Michelle.
This poem we're going to read by Ginsberg, one of Sriyanka's favorite poets, reminds us of how she loved the people she loved. It also, I think, expresses how many of us feel now as we go on loving her.
Sriyanka used to read this poem to Rebecca and I during special moments like a late night dinner, the beach maybe, or the top of a mountain in Vermont. So we'd like to share this with you, this poem with you, and her spirit of always giving love and chasing for something bigger and greater than we are.
Song by Allen Ginsberg. The weight of the world is love. Under the burden of solitude, under the burden of dissatisfaction, the weight we carry is love. Who can deny? In dreams, it touches the body. In thought, constructs a miracle. In imagination, anguishes till born. In human, looks out of the heart, burning with purity. For the burden of life is love, but we carry the weight wearily, and so must rest in the arms of love at last, must rest in the arms of love.
No rest without love, no sleep without dreams of love. Be mad or chill, obsessed with angels or machines, the final wish is love. Cannot be bitter, cannot deny, cannot withhold if denied. The weight is too heavy. Must give for no return as thought is given, in solitude and all the excellence of its excess. The warm bodies shine together in the darkness. The hand moves to the center of the flesh. The skin trembles in happiness, and the soul comes joyful to the eye. Yes, yes, that's what I wanted. I always wanted to return to the body where I was born.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Hi. Before I start, I just want to, it was said before, but it bears repeating, we have a book in the back that would mean a lot to us and to, I think, Shri's family if you sign it and write a note. There's plenty of space for that. So, I'm Jonathan Leaf. we've been hearing about the remarkable breadth of Shri's communities, but we are at BRIC, so we're going to turn our attention a little bit to what she did here. I'm part of the BRIC TV team, and I'm very lucky to have worked with Shri for 10 years. I believe, Kai, that she started with us in 2013 before we moved back into this building. And I remember the first day and wondering, who is this short, exotic ball of fire? From her first day here as a 23-year-old intern, she was unafraid to speak her mind. You said frank, that's for sure. To push for more in terms of what we covered and how artistically we covered it. She backed up that confidence with talent, and her work got only more impressive as she gained experience as a producer. Jonathan, it should feel more like a documentary than a news story, she said, often. And as you're about to see, she did that beautifully in her own films. For me, it was always fun to come to work and find Shri ready to compare notes on a book or a movie or a meal, or to urge us to end the day with a cocktail. But that sense of play was always balanced by a deep seriousness about the world, a passion for fairness, for inclusivity, for decency. She left us as she came in, a mix of lightheartedness with a ton of heart, and I miss that deeply. Here, put together by our colleague Keisha Cole, is a sample of Shri's social justice documentaries.
It's 4 p.m., March 22nd today. Like I said, it's been quite a journey, and I'm just very ready to go home. You know, I think the government is really taking measures to do what they can to stop the spread of this virus, and I'm not going to complain about the very difficult 18 hours we spent going through our medical checkup. If it helps, I have doubts about how much people are following the rules. I have doubts about how truthful people are being about their situation, but you know, really one can hope for the best. A few of my friends think I'm crazy for leaving New York City, for leaving the United States to go back to India. But those who have roots elsewhere will understand. When you find yourself in the midst of something as traumatic as a global pandemic, you also find yourself seeking the familiar, looking for the safest place to be in. I'm an immigrant in the United States, and the place I feel the safest in is the motherland. It's home.
Do you know black women are also victims of police brutality? Have you heard the name Aiyana Jones? She was a 7-year-old girl that was killed in her sleep by Detroit SWAT officers. They barged into her house and shot her dead as she was sleeping. She was only 7 years old.
For a reason?
Because, just because, for no reason, exactly.
They illegally broke into her home, and they broke into the wrong home. So we need to think about what does it mean for black women and girls to also fall victim to police violence.
We, as a nation, get very outraged and angry when we see a black male dead by the hands of police, but not in the same ways when black women are killed by police. And that isn't to say we don't mourn the lives of black men who die, because we absolutely do. But we also mourn the lives of black women and girls and children who are killed by police.
It bothered me because, you know, my brother was killed by a cop during a traffic situation. And the fact that I didn't even know why he was asking me to get out of my car, and I barely believed the reason why he pulled me over, it made me a little jumpy and a little nervous. As soon as I stepped out the car, he placed me in handcuffs. Now he's like pushing me because my body was going left, and he thinks I'm trying to do something. Now he's like manhandling me. Puts me in the back of his cruiser. So I'm thinking I'm going to jail for something. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I have a warrant. All this stuff is playing in my mind. And he's not telling me anything, not telling me nothing. So I'm just like fidgeting around a little bit, trying to get comfortable in there for a little short stay, what hopefully it is. And I'm leaning forward and I see the police monitor there and I'm looking at it and I just see a little picture of me on a damn monitor. And next to the picture, it said the letters SRG. And SRG means Security Risk Group.
I grew up around gangsters, pimps, and drug dealers. You know, you're part of your environment. It was always about the money for me. I wasn't trying to be John Gotti. You know, I wasn't trying to be a drug lord, even though I worked for one of the most violent drug crews in American history called the Supreme Team. Well, from my experience, you know, being a drug dealer and becoming a commander in the NYPD or just being a regular cop, I think I'm an expert on policing, and I'm one of the few people in America that can speak on both lenses.
They call me Highway Mike. I panhandled on the highways. I panhandled on the Cross Bronx. So I'm kind of used to dealing with traffic. People like, oh, I'm gonna give you money so you can get out of here so you don't get hit. Fortunately, I didn't get hit. I do want to save a life. And my thing is, you don't do it on this. I do my outreach on the streets, but this is my biggest outreach because I go where they at. You notice we came in here, it looked empty. But as we start moving around the trails, people just start popping out of the woodworks.
Do you ever miss Syria?
What I see in Syria in my eyes, what I want to miss from Syria. The people die from the street, what I want to miss from Syria. The snipers on the street, what I want to miss from Syria. I see a lot of things over there. I see my neighborhood, like the houses in the floor from the bomb. I cannot explain to you. You have to feel it from inside your heart, this thing.
When the pandemic initially hit, violence numbers dropped because individuals were inside, right? We were quarantined. They weren't really out on the street. But as we started to open up, our violence numbers started to hit the highest that they've ever been. And that was just as a result of the temperament that people are on as a result of the pandemic. So we had people that could not get on unemployment, people that lost their jobs. We have individuals that were released from prison with no resources, right? So here we are, we're saying, okay, we're going to let you out because of a pandemic, but we're gonna provide very little support for you to become successful. All that creates chaos.
My mom, in the beginning, she was kind of worried, but she thought maybe it was a speeding ticket. I mean, I'm sleeping at this time. And then she said, Hamza, wake up, your dad's home. And she's excited. And next thing you know, they're handcuffing the guy. Now she's freaking out because speeding tickets don't get handcuffs, that's for sure. Then after that, that happened, and then my dad, they put him in the car. And next thing you know, like really hard, they ordered all of us, including my old grandmother, to get out of the house. And we're all just waiting in front of this building. We're waiting there, it's cold, we're shocked, we're shivering, and we're just sitting there. And there's absolutely no regard. There was no regard, like we were some scum of the earth.
I grew into the gangs, the Bloods, the violence, at a young age, and it surrounded me. It's low income out here. There's not a lot of money floating around. I sold drugs at a young age. Started with marijuana. That money was kind of slow. Escalated to crack cocaine. Escalated from that to heroin. So, and this was all around the ages of 13, 14, you know, because there wasn't too many resources out here. We had a community center, but there were no computers in there. You just go in there and play basketball. My basketball wasn't too good. You all ready? Roll up, man, do your thing.
At first they wanted me to do a drug test, then they wanted me to do a drug treatment program. I'm like, well, I'm not on drugs. But then we had this lady come and she asked us to lift up our shirts, and she even would wake Duchess out of her naps to open up her diaper and pull up her onesie. I'm like, but she's sleeping. She's like, I need to see the baby.
If we can conceive of all the harm that results from centuries of racial oppression and centuries of unaddressed poverty, if we can conceive of all that harm as the parents' fault, then those problems are no longer structural and they no longer require a widespread societal or government response.
Be Heard Amplified is BRIC's new community engagement initiative. We're taking from our popular town hall series and we're doing a bunch of community engagement programs, live events, education classes to make sure that members of our Brooklyn community are able to tell their own stories through their own voices. So we have been working with Clara Mohammed's School of the Masjid in Bed-Stuy to do video storytelling classes with young teenagers.
For you guys who are focusing on masjid and the community here, think about locations that you want to go in the neighborhood. What is it that you like to film that we can use as a B-roll?
Very often, adults are the ones making decisions for young people, and we are telling their stories and we're telling them how to be and how not to be. But young people have a voice, they have things to say. What better way to actually empower young people who are unapologetically themselves?
Okay, so basically in the last 8 weeks of summer, we had to take a filmmaking class because our parents love us.
Rolling and action.
We had to make a movie about the Muslim experience in Brooklyn. A few of the things we were curious about were their past, their family, the community they grew up in, and their present lives.
If you were a superhero, what would your superpower be?
If I were a superhero, I think it'd be super speed, so I can get to school on time.
My son Yaquin English was killed December 24th, 2013, in Graves End, Coney Island. And my oldest son was killed upstate Troy, New York. He was stabbed at 32 years old. They found my son's murderer. At this time, he has 22 to life. But at the same time, it helps that my case was solved. But for what? I have no son. I'm seeing my son cremated every morning, every afternoon, every night.
It went to that Russia took the part of Ukraine called Crimea, and like Ukraine didn't want to share the land with Russia, so the war is like starting.
I usually go back every 2 years,
and the last time I went was last summer. And I'm planning to go back, but I haven't gone back because my parents are afraid that they'll take me to army because of the war that's going on.
Whole life I was a shit but a misfit. Another statistic, though, to myself I probably drop out and do this shit, recorded, smoking and social networking. And you, oh damn, that was way off beat. That was way off beat. That was good though? Yeah. All right. Being an African American teen, a black teen, especially being that I'm a male, I get into a lot of trouble and a lot of situations.
You not.
Last year, 2015, I was arrested 3 times. The cops, if they're nice enough, they'll buy you food. Like, it was this one cop, she bought me McDonald's. And the same cop that bought me McDonald's, she also knew my little brother. Like, she used to buy my little brother comic books and coloring books and stuff, so I was good. My cousin was in there, too, with me the 3rd time I got locked up. I seen, like, 3 dudes jump this one dude, and he ended up having to get staples in his head. He had to get, like, all types of pills. It wasn't really nothing. Like, it was just when I seen those fights, it was like, oh, snap, like, this is real, like.
My name is Nate, I'm 16. I live in East Flatbush and I was born in Brooklyn. Me and my bro, we doing our handshake and the cop's like, oh really, right in front of us? Like, how you gonna tell me if I could do a handshake or not?
Everybody
do it.
With a gang or anything, they associate everything with a gang.
Like,
Everything is a
just 'cause I'm doing a
gang.
handshake, like, they just bothering me for no reason. Like, I ain't doing nothing to you, why you wanna harass me?
I feel like adults, they just think the most. Like they assume everything. They pretend they Yeah.
They
pretend they care. You go through a lot. Sometimes, I mean, for me, I try to go to school, go home, get my education, but while doing that, it's rough out here. It's rough.
So I'm Ro Johnson. I have been, over the past 5 years, incredibly blessed and honored to be Sriyanka's supervisor. And words were written for me. I could not read them, and I just wanted to say whatever came to my heart in this moment. First, I want everyone to look on your program. There's a QR code to all of Sriyanka's work. So there's a playlist, a YouTube playlist that, you know, my colleague Keisha Cole did this past montage and the one that you're about to see, but it pales in comparison to kind of doing a deep dive, and I just encourage everyone to binge her work. Sriyanka challenged me in so many ways. She was very intentional about the stories she told and very intentional about how she told them. And nothing about her work was frivolous. And I would say the biggest lesson, I always looked at myself as like a bigger sister, and I had to teach and teach. But, you know, when she left us, I said, well, what did I learn? And I said, I feel like the biggest lesson that I learned was freedom. Sriyanka lived her life with an enormous amount of freedom, something that I'm the exact opposite. And I feel like since she's gone, she's kind of come to me with different messages to be more free. An enormous amount of freedom, and I feel like a lot of the stories, even the lighthearted stories that you're going to see in the next reel, were very much about people finding their freedom and either having the freedom to tell their story or their story being about a journey of freedom. And I believe that she truly felt free and like navigated the world with a sense of freedom and wanted that for everyone else, because many of us are, you know, kind of in the prison of what other people think and what they want for us. And I have missed her dearly and will continue to miss her forever. She made an enormous impact on my life. So with that, this is another montage of some of her lighter content, lighter topics that are rooted in social justice, but I would say they're, to me, more about freedom. So.
Dismissal of the mainstream media as a kind of policy is very strategic. It makes their argument a matter of discussion. It creates the legitimacy of that argument as something that needs to be debated and assessed. And then it creates media self-doubt about how they're performing. Public trust in the media is really critical. A well-informed public making rational choices about matters of public interest, right? That's the promise and premise of democratic theory.
I don't trust mainstream media, and at times I don't even trust independent media.
It's good to have a free press, but what's good is a free press if they don't tell the truth? What good is a free press if they're adversarial based on some emotional idea that they have?
They feel that they were tricked by these companies and they never should have fell for it, but they did. I think those are all contributing factors to making it not just a poorly paying job, but just a truly terrible experience for so many people.
Give it up for these amazing filmmakers. For those who missed it earlier, the BRIC Lab Film and TV Residency is a 6-month program that incubates innovative and ambitious documentary filmmakers working on short-form, episodic, or feature-length nonfiction films. One of the things that I was thinking about is just how hard it must have been to turn the camera inwards and, make such a deeply personal film.
I had very little interest in the outside world when I was younger. I didn't know it existed. I didn't know what there was to be interested in. My world was very self-contained. In the Hasidic world, depending on the school, secular education for boys is very meager. Boys generally get only about an hour or two of instruction at the end of the day in English and math. I worry about my sons, who are now 13 and 15, who do not speak, read, or write English, even though they were born and raised in the United States.
Getting into steampunk is thinking more about the kind of objects I surround myself with and thinking more about how we consume things. We have a big consumption problem. It means a lot of waste. It means a lot of resources are being depleted. And steampunk is kind of a really useful tool to think about social change, to think about our world and realize that it's, very much like the 19th century's world.
My earliest memory of knowing that I was gay goes back to the 8th grade, I think. I had a crush on my math teacher. That's around puberty, so around 12, 13. I knew that it was wrong. I knew that it felt wrong, but it also like made a lot of sense to me. I think confronting that kind of like self-hatred of like wanting to smother this thing came with just like teenage rebellion, like 16, 17, realizing that like there's this huge world out there that I'm gonna like thrive in, and that might mean losing something as strong as institutional as my faith. That's been there since day one, that has carried me through everything, knowing that like if I have to lose that for me to kind of feel free, that's what that's gonna take.
They are not also just a fashion statement. To me, they're a sense of pride, just celebrating African culture.
And so the first time I wore it, and I was nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I was nervous. I was like, okay, you know, usually girls like me don't wear this, but it's part of my culture
exactly.
too, so
and
why
not?
can't I
Right,
wear
exactly.
it, right? I can wear whatever I want. So I did get some talk back.
From who?
From women, like who actually, you know, this is what they wear every day. But,
Right.
you know, they don't wear it with their regular clothes.
Right.
It makes you feel like a queen. You know, it's like your crown.
Honestly, when I first moved here, I wasn't really aware of the whole gentrification conversation. As I said, I moved into a pretty low-income neighborhood, and at that point, there wasn't as much anger and insecurity as there is right now. And so I never really considered myself to be a gentrifier. I think more so because I made it a point to really embed myself in the culture and the community. I have a lot of friends. I talk to all the old ladies who go to church and the young kids who are playing. So I felt not like an outsider, but more like I'm part of the community. And so, no, I didn't consider myself a gentrifier, even though I'm very aware that I live in an apartment that has central heat, central AC, brand new, renovated, and I don't need to worry about hot water. So it's ironic because I am a gentrifier, but at the same time, I don't feel like one. Maybe because I took time out to sort of respect the place where I've come into.
As Hindus, we worship God as both male and female, or both male or female, because God is one. His attributes are many. His names are many. But we worship God as Shakti, the goddess. Gandhadyasamanoharam Vile Param Surisreshta Chandanam
মূলত এই দ্বীপটা একটা জঙ্গলে ভরা ছিল দ্বীপ। দুজন ইংরেজ তারা এই দ্বীপে অবতরণ করে, নেমে পড়ে।
And then the tigers, actually they killed the horses, and from there the name has come up, Ghoda Mara, killing of horse. This island has become only 3.3 square kilometer right now.
গোটা ঘোড়ামারার চারদিকে নদী বাঁধ একদম হু করে একদম ওয়াশ আউট হয়ে গেল। নদী বাঁধের উপরে প্রায় 1.5-2 ফুট করে জল দাঁড়িয়ে গেছে। যুবক যারা তারাও কিন্তু বুঝতে পারছে যে এই দ্বীপটা ভবিষ্যতে হয়তো থাকবে না, সেরকমভাবে তারা মানসিকভাবে প্রস্তুতি নিয়ে নিচ্ছেন।
There's a difference between house and home. Maybe these people will find house, but they will lose their home. There's a connection over here.
Where are you from?
We are from Jamaica. Can you say Jamaica?
Jamaica. What is Jamaica like?
Jamaica is a beautiful island. We have a motto, out of many, one people. So we have lots of different nationalities.
What kind of music do you play?
We play reggae music.
What do you play for me?
Could you ask me again?
May you please play for me?
Of course we're gonna play something.
We're so happy for the children of the world that we're gonna do this one right now. Children of the world, this one is for you. 1, 2, 3.
Daddy shook, make Daddy shook, make Daddy shook, make Daddy shook, make Daddy shook, shake, 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 all over the place. I say, come on, baby, when the music's playing, I wanna see you dance, dance, dance. Come on, baby, sit when the music's playing, I wanna see you dance. Get up and dance, move, yeah, move, yeah. Come on, baby, let me show you what I make it do. Watch this music, oh, yeah. You into my soul, rolling along, steps. What are we gonna do? Tell me. What are we gonna do with love? And now that we found out, tell me what we gonna do with it. Hey.
Yes, that's Sriyanka. I don't know about you, but that last song by Third World got me moving in my seat. And I'm looking forward to the next part once we get past reflections. So, we're a little behind schedule, but that's okay. Now we're gonna hold time for reflections. For those who'd like to share, please make your way to the podium or to one of these mics on either side. You can kind of gracefully line up on the side. We ask that you keep it to 2 minutes. We also have a votive light ritual here to my right. You don't have to come up to speak to take advantage of the votive ritual. You can also take advantage of the votive ritual after you come up to speak if you want. And in lieu of real candles, because we can't light candles in this room, it's an LED votive candle. So you can come up, take a moment of silence for whatever you need, turn it on, and then you can place it into one of the tea light votive candle holders. We see this as symbolic of the light she brought to this world and the light we release back into the universe. But you can reference it however you need to. Once again, we ask that you keep it to 2 minutes or less. Please feel free to begin to line up. As a gentle nudge, if you go over, you will hear a kind chime or bell, much like they do at the Academy Awards. If you hear that, as we say in television, wrap it up. Hand signal. If you see that, you know what that means. So let's begin. All is ready.
All right, please keep me honest. There's a lot on my heart right now, so I expect that chime will come at any moment. Thank you, Jonathan, for putting a timeline on it, because I worked with Sriyanka and I can't remember a time before her. And I'm sure if you were lucky enough to know her, you probably can't remember a whole lot before she came into your life. But she was a force, and watching that and even listening to what I'm saying, I'm not used to speaking about my friend in the past tense yet, because she is so present, and just the nerve of that woman. Like this little brown, beautiful thing that came to us across all these oceans and made her way into places that you saw up there and places that we'll never see, the lives that she touched, the people that she knitted together, the communities that she made inroads into. That is fantastic. Like I consider myself like a collector of people, right? Like I love to be in the corner finding out whatever you want to share with me, but Sriyanka did that on like an exponential level, like on steroids. That woman could get you to talk. She used her life and she used her love and she used her energy, and like in this, I always say it's like a Star Wars outpost bar of a place that we met at BRIC. Like, look at the people around you at all these tables. There's no reason why any of us would be in this room together at this particular time if it wasn't for our love of this woman. And that is a multiplier. So I would hope that we carry that energy forward and just really embody all of that, knowing that we are Shree's legacy. Like the continuum, like that big ass rock has been dropped. So let's let it ripple and ripple. Like, wear those bright colors that you're afraid of. Like, flirt with the stranger. Like, go get a drink, sit somewhere, breathe in and out. Like, I really don't remember a time before Shree was here. We bonded over our love of Bollywood, boys, and old monk rum. Like, that woman is a force, and I will not let her go. The chime is here, and I'm gonna be done, but Sriyanka will be infinite and is infinite and goes on and on and on. God bless Sriyanka, and God bless us for being reflections of her. So carry that shit forward, all right? Amen. Thank you, Sriyanka. I love you.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. So it's an honor to be here today, celebrating the life of a queen, if I will. And I'd be remiss if I didn't share the story of yesterday, when I really, truly felt her presence at 75. And I'll keep it brief before I share this song with you. Sri called me, one time I was humming while I was working, and she's like, "Who's this songbird?" And I was just like, "That's so sweet." And I didn't even realize I was singing. And yesterday, I went to the restroom before I was leaving, and a song came to me. And I said to Kai and Freddie, and I said, "I think Sri wants me to share this song with you all. So I hope that you're touched by it." It's a medley. Enjoy. Please don't chime, because I'm singing. I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, and just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long, long time coming, and I know a change is gonna come. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's out there beyond the sky. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know a change is gonna come. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I've heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, blue birds fly, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'll try to compose my words here. For those of you who know me, I write on spare time, and I'm far more articulate when I'm writing things down than I do when I'm speaking in front of people. So forgive me if I don't sound quite as eloquent. I was on vacation for the first time in my entire adult life at the end of May, just before my 41st birthday. I went on a cruise to celebrate my son's 12th birthday. And I got off the cruise, and my internet came back on. And the very first thing that popped up on my phone was an email from Wes saying this terrible news that is the reason why we're all here, that I just couldn't believe. I almost refused to believe it when I saw it. I actually turned my phone off and turned it back on to make sure that it wasn't true. And it's because of I couldn't believe it was her, because I remember when she was an intern with BRIC TV, back when it was Brooklyn Independent Television. I remember the day that it was announced that she had been hired, her and Raquel, who's here today, it's great to see her today. And I was just so mesmerized by the work that she did at such a young age, and was so dedicated to her community. I mean, she's, like I said, she's an immigrant, but she was so dedicated to being a Brooklynite, and it really was inspiring. And just seeing all of this, like, I've been a witness to everything that's been shown since the time that she's been here up to now, and was endlessly impressed, and if I can be honest, sometimes even envious of how great she was at the things that she did. And I realized something very recently. She'd been nominated for a lot of Emmy Awards. She's nominated again this year, too. And it was always great to see the pictures of her dressed in her, garb and everything, and really representing her heritage. It was beautiful to see. And I realized, wait a minute. A person like me who sees the success of someone like Sriyanka that's so wonderful and happened so quickly and affected so many people, which is why someone so young can affect so many people's lives that are in this room right now. And I thought, you know what? I think I really realized how she got to be so successful. It was because she cared about the people. She cared about being a servant. So that's really where the success lies, is that she was a servant to the people. And I realized that if I'm going to have any kind of fraction of an impact on the world, I have to follow Sriyanka's lead, which is to be a servant. So that's what I'm going to say. And I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to be very on brand. I'm going to quote a line from one of my favorite songs by one of my favorite artists, Michael Jackson. Like I said, it's very on brand. But it's a motto of how Sriyanka did. It's, maybe you and I can't do great things. We may not change the world in one day, but we still can change some things today in our small way. And yeah.
Hi, everyone. I know this sounds weird, but I'm not here to talk to Sriyanka or about her. But okay, let me backtrack actually. This might go over 2 minutes. I'm sorry. But this crystal that I'm wearing is Sriyanka's. And all these rings, I won't get into how it came to me, but it came to me, it made its way to me. And I know it's a gift from her to me. But my point is, if you really knew her deeply, you know how much crystals in general, spirituality meant to her. She literally traveled with her crystals. She had them in Bolivia. She slept with the crystal underneath her pillow, and she always channeled her ancestors, the energy into the other realm through her crystals. And so the fact that this crystal made its way to me really is something special. And I've been getting this feeling for a little bit just tonight, and I've never felt this before. But I feel like she's kind of channeling herself through this crystal. And I know that, she's not physically here right now, but she very much is. And I feel like she's kind of, this sounds really strange, don't think I'm manic, but I feel like she wants me to say some things on her behalf. And none of this is planned, by the way. It literally, I just got that feeling right now, like 10 minutes ago. I feel like she wants to say just a couple things in the 2 minutes. I'll try to make it short. I don't want to hear that Oscars chime, but I feel like she just wants me to say a few things on her behalf. And I can't explain it, but if you believe in spirituality, then you'll know it's true. I'm really feeling this through this crystal. Anyway, first of all, to BRIC for organizing this, and just for the past 8 years, I know there were ups and downs, as there is in any kind of situation, but she loved BRIC every time, even post-COVID especially, when everybody was working remote and you just went into office like once or twice a week. Even though she would complain about it, be like, oh my God, I have to go into work tomorrow. Every time she would come back, it would be like, okay, I got drinks with my coworkers, I got drinks with Freddie, I did this, I forced everyone to make a cocktail and now we're all drinking here, She loved her BRIC community. I feel like she wants me to say that she's so thankful for this event. To Kai, to Freddie, to everybody else, to Jonathan, to everyone who's, I'm not going to mention, okay, that's the chime, but you know what? I'm just going to go. I'm sorry, but I'm going to go. Yeah, I have this feeling that she wants me to say that she's really, really grateful for all of this. Not just for organizing this event, but for everything that you've given to her. For giving her a platform to fly, Last year, she told me, she just woke up one day and she came to my room and she was like, oh my God, I know what I'm gonna film next. And it was, you saw a little bit of that. I think it's coming out now, this summer, but it was the story about the subway shooter in New York, which just happened last year in May. And she was like, you know what, despite everything else, which company gives you $10,000 to just make a film about anything you want? And she really valued and was grateful to BRIC for that, amongst many other things. So first of all, thank you to BRIC on her behalf. Second, I'm getting this feeling that I need to mention all her friends growing up and even now in Calcutta, in India. I'm not going to mention everybody, just the names that are coming into my heart right now. Arijit, Mitana, Kiki, Joshua, and there's so many others, but these are just the ones I'm mentioning. Thank you for everything, for the memories, for 20 years, for every December. More than that, for growing up together, for always getting through everything together, for being her people, her community that's going to transcend lifetimes, not just this life. I think you came to her for a reason. I think you've spent many lifetimes together, and it wasn't just for nothing that you found each other at the time that you did. For all the raves in Goa that you danced till the sunrise, for all the New Year's Eves in Arijit and Arhan's Terrace. I know Duncan has been a part of that, and I think Lindsay as well. For all the sleepovers the Oompa Loompa has, the slutty Oompa Loompas, you know, if I'm being real, that's what she called her, Roma, Kiki, and Mitana, like that was their name. For the heart-to-hearts, for getting through her, just her childhood, for getting through her like hardships and breakups and, you know, everything you go through as a child and as a teenager and through your adult life. The next feeling that I'm getting, and I know this sounds very strange, okay, I get the chime, but like I'm not stopping, I'm sorry. But also, I just want to reiterate, me personally, I hate being on stage. This is really her channeling herself through me. It sounds crazy, but this is actually her. For everybody in New York City, her home, her second home, you know, she had two lives, Calcutta and New York. I feel like I was the bridge between both, but for her New York City family, she's always grateful, you know, like she spent her childhood in India. She spent all her adolescent years, the years that really shaped her in her adult life over here. To everybody here who's been a part of it, even if it was just for a moment, a day, a memory, thank you for that. Thank you for being here or watching this online. To specific people, you know, like Lindsay, I don't know where you are, but I'm getting this feeling to tell you, I know we spoke about it, but you'll always be a Slytherin. You're pretty badass, and you will always be in our heart. She also thanks you, and we've spoken about this generally as well, for always standing up for her, for always like voicing your opinion for her. To Duncan, for bringing all the vibes, despite whatever, like, you know, you met in the building 10 years ago, for bringing all the vibes. For Rebecca, for all the memories, the Belize trip, the Ginsberg poem, everything else. And, you know, for her good vibes tribe, as we would call it, Freddie and Michelle, you know, you were the creme de la creme, the top of the list. No one has to say it. For Freddie, for just always just uplifting. You know, I also don't know where Freddie is right now, but okay, whatever. He might be in the bathroom, but this is recorded. But for always just lifting her up, you know, like her and him both said, like before COVID, before she went to India for a year, like she went through this phase where she was always like, oh my God, I hate New York City. This is the problem and that's the problem, blah, blah, blah. And she would say all this when Freddie and her were getting a cocktail, and he would be like, okay, I hear you, you've had time to vent, but stop being a Debbie Downer now. Let's drink, you know? So to Freddie, for just always being him, you know, I feel like I don't have anything more to say than that, for just always being him, having it together. I think there you are, but always having it together, always staying for that last bottle of wine. And I know you know from what I'm saying, I know you know, for staying for that last bottle of wine the night before we left for Bolivia. But always encapsulating that in much more ways. To Michelle, I know this sounds strange, but this is not coming from me. I'm just getting this feeling that she's saying this through me, through this crystal. She'll always love you. She'll always guide you. She'll always tell you how to write that email to stand up for yourself, you know. She'll always tell you ways to make more money, and I feel like, you know, in true Sriyanka style, she'll always tell you, stop ordering takeout for $80 tacos, you know. Stop it. Save up for that, like, Papi juice party. Stop spending the money on tacos when you are such a good cook. But to everybody else who I haven't fully mentioned, like Julian, I said this personally to you before, but I also really felt this in my heart like 10 minutes ago, that she wants me to tell you, you couldn't have encapsulated her like better in any more words than you did. Like everything. Like I've said, she has 2 lives, right? One in India and one in New York. And you encapsulated everything in New York so beautifully. Like, it couldn't have been anybody else. Like, it was so beautiful. Also, to the person who sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow, I'm a pretty strong person. I don't cry very easily, but you got tears out of me. I know you don't know me, but like, yeah, that's a lot. I mean, I was in Bolivia. I went through all of it. I'm very strong, but like, somehow, the minute those lines came on, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, I just like started crying for like a minute. Anywho, and last, but very much not the least by any means, to her baby sister. I don't know where the camera is, but you're watching live right now. I know how hard this has been for you, and this is me talking, not her, but now this is her talking. to Romu, to Bhutu, she'll always be yours first, Everybody has called her a collective soul, which she is always and will always be. But even before, how change begins at home, right? You care about the people, but you need to care about your people first, right? She's a collective soul. She'll always give her 100% more than that and do everything for her community, which means so much to her. But before any of that, she belongs to you and you specifically. Like, she's told me in as many words, but you are her precious gift from the universe, literally. You are her twin soul, the other part to her own soul, her twin flame, the other part to her soul. She is incomplete without you, and I know you feel incomplete without her. She's always going to be yours. And that's just a strong feeling that I felt only tonight, actually, in the last 10 minutes, that I felt that, Sriyanka currently doesn't have a physical voice to say, but I feel like she's really channeling herself through me, because also, I hate being on stage. I would never do this, but I feel like she wants me to say this to you. She'll always be yours. I know it's been really tough. You've been so gracious, so strong, so courageous. You've been there for everyone, for your family, obviously, but also for me, But like me as in me, Varu. But Sriyanka, Didi, your sister, your person, your everything will always be yours first. And it's you and her in every lifetime. Anyway, I feel like that's all I wanted to say through her. And to the rest of us left behind, there's so much grief, there's trauma, there's longing. Seeing her videos, her voice, just her face, like, I'm sure it brings up a lot of memories, triggers, tears in all of us. But in true Sriyanka style, like, we're all here gathering together. We're her community, we're her New York family, we're her people. We'll cry, okay, get that over with, but then also we have to party. You have a drink. If you have a drink right now, raise a toast to her, She doesn't want to be, and I know this in the core of my soul and my bones, every cell in my body. She does not want to be remembered in sadness and grief. She wants to be remembered for all the good times, which made up pretty much all her life, She lived an amazing life. She literally said, if I go tomorrow, I won't have regrets, because she lived that life, and she inspires me personally to live that life, like, for her and for myself, like, to live big, to go on that vacation, to like feel your feelings, but also to like dance a bit and laugh a lot, to live every moment, because it's the big and the small that make life what it is. I mean, I'm not trying to be morbid, but any of us can just pop tomorrow. I mean, I've become this person, and I'm really not trying to be morbid, but like, we can all just, the world can come crashing down. It's, climate change, global warming, you don't know what's going on. New York literally had the worst AQI last month of the whole world, and coming from India, that was hard for me to believe, but whatever, I saw the photos. So we can leave whenever, but just live her legacy and really truly just live your life, because that's the only way you can truly honor her and her legacy. So yeah.
All right, so we have time for one more. Her good friend Fred Brown will say a few words. We're going to give him a minute, and then we'll do the Academy Award chime. All right. Fred.
Okay, Kai's my boss, so 60 seconds. I'm going to try to take 90. All right. First of all, I just want to give a love round to Varu Noir, who was the last person who saw Sriyanka. And tonight I wanted to make sure that I shared something that was really important to Sriyanka, which I think is the mantra that she lived by: friends and lovers. Can I hear something? That's also the name of one of her favorite nighttime clubs in Brooklyn. Hello. Friends among us. Made friends everywhere she went, whether it be the corner bodega or Tobago. Friends, not just a word, but a meaning. Something that it was a vow that she took seriously. And if she became your friend, she expected that in return. Lovers. Lovers are of almost about everything. Food, people, culture, travel, boys, hello, and life. Who do you run across that totally uses this balance between friends and lovers as the way they navigate through life? So Sriyanka, we want to lift you up. We want to give you thanks, because each of us ultimately is a gift to each other. And as my Buddhist colleagues, which Sriyanka embraced as well, would say, did you fulfill your mission in life? The years are relative. Did you impact somebody else's life? And did you make an impact on the world? And I think that we all can say, hip, hip. Hooray! Hip, hip. Hooray! Hip, hip. Hooray! Thank you.
Thank you for that, Freddie, and for everyone who shared. Now we're going to take a 10-minute break. It was a 15-minute break, but we're going to make it 10 minutes. So take some time. Please get back here by 8:30. We do want to stay on time. We've got some more things to share. Restrooms are out. A gender-neutral one is outside. We've got nicer ones downstairs. You can take a moment to do the votive lighting ritual. Whatever you need, get your food, but be back here at 8:30. Thank you. delicious punch. It's right over there. Cheers. Cheers. Love you guys. We're going to have an official toast later, but I just want to call this out. This is delicious. Emily, where are you? What is the name of the beautiful woman who makes these delicious nutcrackers? Queen Hazel Brown Eyes. We did a story on her when we for Brooklyn USA, our flagship podcast, and she made these delicious nutcracker for us. So I'm only having one until I finish this, and then when I'm done with this, I'm gonna have another one. So just letting you know. All right. So we're gonna continue. We're kind of back on schedule. Welcome back. As we hold Sriyanka in our hearts, we remember all of her, especially how much she loved fun. She loved to dance, and she loved to sing. She had a beautiful voice. Happy songs, sad songs. She loved poems. And in honor of this, and I hope they're ready, I'd like to call her good friends Michelle and Duncan up to the stage. And then followed by that, we'll have another dear friend of hers, Megan Donis, give us a toast. Thank you. Michelle, Duncan, please. So just Duncan, give him a round of applause.
Hey guys, I'm just Duncan. So I was hoping to play a song tonight. Originally we were going to play a song that Sriyanka loved by Chris Cornell. And then precluding that, I was going to play an original song that I wrote about sitting on the stoop with Sriyanka for many years. But my truck broke down on the way and I missed sound check. So I can't play the guitar, but I can read you the song, and I would like to read also a poem or two by Sriyanka's favorite poet, Rabindranath Tagore. I'll start with my poem, and then I'll follow it with the inimitable Rabindranath. Keep in mind also, this is a country song without a guitar, so. Well, I come home from work and park my ass on the stoop, and I wait for my people to come passing through. Don't need to call, 'cause you'll know where to find me. I'll be right the fuck here till the sun's done its shining. Then we'll maybe retire inside for some brews. Don't want the police to spoil the mood. There ain't no bad vibes and there ain't no attitude. Just the usual faces, good music, and food. 'Cause we stay up late and sharing weed and beers, talking about what we hate and what we love and fear. We always celebrate even through the tears. 'Cause in a world of fake, we keep the real right here. Now, now I'm getting faded and the night's winding down. It's hard to concentrate what we're talking about. But, well, let's see. I usually sing it with a guitar, so it's a little easier to remember. But you guys get the gist. So, if you'll give me a second. Okay, Rabindranath is a very well-known poet and all across India, poet laureate, famous around the world, and he wrote about many things, including Sriyanka's home, Calcutta. I, at the last minute, selected a few poems that I thought were appropriate and reminded me of her. This poem is called Closed Path. I thought my voyage had come to its end, and the limit of my power, that the path before me was closed. that provisions were exhausted, and the time to take shelter in a silent obscurity. But I find that thy will knows no end in me, and when old words die out on the tongue, new melodies break forth from the heart, and where the old tracks are lost, new country is revealed with its wonders. This next poem is called Farewell. I have got my leave, bid me farewell, my brothers. I bow to you and take all, I bow to you all and take my departure. Here I give back the keys of my door, and I give up all claims to my house. I only ask last kind words from you. We were neighbors for so long, but I received more than I could give. Now the day has dawned, and the lamp that lit my dark corner is out. A summons has come, and I'm ready for my journey. I would also just like to say thank you all for being here, and thank you, BRIC, for organizing this whole event. It's been kind of surreal the last few months without Sriyanka, constantly organizing and getting everybody together and making all the things happen. I think like 10 years ago, I met her because I moved to Brooklyn, and I had the good fortune of moving in downstairs from her. And Michelle was my next door neighbor, and we all met at her Halloween party because she didn't want to piss off her downstairs neighbor. So she kindly extended an invite. So we spent the last 10 years sharing every moment we could find together in Brooklyn, on our stoop in Crown Heights, in Vermont, at my home, and for me in Calcutta, and many times on as Varu was saying, the Set's rooftop in New Year's. So yeah, it's surreal to not have her constantly bringing all of us together and making everything happen, but at least we're here now, and we can share and joy. And like Varu said, she wouldn't want us all to be mourning her. She would want us to celebrate her life and celebrate the joy that she brought to everyone in this room. Thank you.
Everyone. I'm Megan, and I met Shri in 2014 here at BRIC. We were part of the team that created Be Heard, BRIC's strand of social justice programming. I put on so many shows in this room with her, and she would fucking love this show for her. It is so great, and it is so appropriate. She would say, you're my boss, and technically I was her boss, but immediately I wanted to be her best friend instead of her boss. And so word was done. That was it. We were best friends, and I was probably not the best boss because I wanted to be her best friend, and she too. And we just worked through the work stuff over the years and created so many amazing things together, and then transcended the work relationship to a friendship that is unlike anything that I have ever had. She became Auntie Shri to my kids. She was my sister, my mother, my daughter, my friend, my partner in crime, my collaborator. When I got here tonight, I set my purse, I brought my purse up here because I set it down, and it has my tribute and toast that I wrote for her. And up until 2 minutes ago, I had lost it. And it is so ironic because anyone who knows me knows that I lose my purse constantly. And Sriyanka was the protector of my purse. She on so many nights out, whether we were out dancing or having an event here, she would actually take my purse from me and stash it somewhere before the event happened so that I would be able to find it. And then if it was a night of dancing, it was either Kai or Sriyanka who would, at the end of the night, be like, where's my purse? And she would be like, Megs. So I am going to give a toast to Sriyanka, but a little backstory. During the pandemic, I wrote a poem inspired by Sriyanka. She had gone to India, and I had gone back to Canada, and we were the furthest we had been from each other, both geographically, and it was the longest amount of time that we had spent apart. And we spoke so often. And like we did on any given Tuesday, contemplating, what does this all mean? How will we survive? What are the lessons to be learned from this pandemic? What are you reading, watching, wearing, eating? And we got into a discussion about the things that we missed about simpler times when we sat side by side, our desks beside each other. And for her, she was laughing about missing my impassioned, she called it my impassioned, messy desk covered in papers and notebooks and good snacks and possibly a piece of chewed gum stuck to a sticky note. And I missed, I told her, her mischievous smile, her mischievous glances and giggles in between extremely serious journalistic work that we were doing, and the smell of her leather jacket. So this is the poem that I started, inspired by the smell of the leather jacket, that I've now turned into a toast for her tonight. I miss her storied perfume jacket, slung seemingly nonchalantly on the back of her work chair. But if you knew, you knew. Shri did very little nonchalantly. Shri, who owned her world with each jangle of her beautiful braceleted body. Shri, who rippled with such relentless curiosity that she was an ocean of otherworldly wisdom. Shri, who saw and felt it all, despite the high emotional price of this life. Shri, embodying archetypes, the protector, the explorer, the goddess, the warrior, the empress, the bridge. She used to always say, Meg, some people are chapters and other people are novels. And you, Sriyanka Ray, you are a novel. And so a toast tonight to our Shri, to living and loving so fully as she, so fully that like Shri, our jackets tell tales, our scents inspire songs, and our souls are living poetry long after we've left this life. We love you forever, Sriyanka Ray. Everyone raise a glass. Thank you. Love you, Shri. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shireen Baraki, and I worked with Shri here at BRIC. We were both senior producers. In 2021, Shri and I collaborated on a town hall about the future of Arab American activism. And as part of that town hall, we had the pleasure of working with a wonderful band called the Brooklyn Nomads. And tonight, we have members of that band to honor our dear Shri. She really loved this band. So let's show them some love as they take the stage, and enjoy.
So as this, can we turn? Thank you. As this amazing band is getting set up, I just want to let people know that this is a time for us to express ourselves in our bodies. There's a little bit of space up front if you want to come up and shake your butt. So feel free to get up out of your seats and let this music move you. As you know, it would move Sriyanka.
Thank you, everyone, for having us. Thank you, Shireen, for inviting us, and thank you, Sriyanka, for including us to BRIC's family. Ramzi Idil here on percussion. Will be playing Daf. Yes, please give it up. My name is Hadi Aldabek. I play the oud, a very popular instrument in the Arab world and the Middle East. I'm gonna start with an original composition, and then we're gonna go to play folkloric songs from different parts of the Arab world. Hope you enjoy it.
أعمل لك منك أسرار. ما جاني منك مرسال يسأل عني بهاك البرد، يطمن كيف الأحوال كيف الشتوي بهالجد. ما جاني منك مرسال يسأل عني بهاك البرد، يطمن كيف الأحوال كيف الشتوي بهالجد. حتى لما بان التلج رجعت الركوي عالنار، قلت اللي جاي زيارة حطيت الركوي عالنار، وانطرتك حتى الجارة عرفت شو عندي أسرار. عصفور الصحو الأزرق خلاني سبق حالي، زنت انطرتك عالمفرق وصار يضيعني خيالي. خلاني سبق حالي، زنت انطرتك وصار يضيعني خيالي. حتى نجوم البلعالي رميول القمر زنار، قلت اللي جاي زيارة حطيت الركوي عالنار، وانطرتك حتى الجارة عرفت شو عندي أسرار. قلت اللي جاي زيارة حطيت الركوي عالنار، وانطرتك حتى الجارة عرفت شو عندي أسرار.
Shukran, thank you. This song was from Lebanon, and the next one is gonna be a medley of songs from Iraq and from Syria.
أشوفك عطشان حفل سنين واروي على شوفك عطشان حفل سنين واروي على شوفك مالي شغل بالسوق مريت أشوفك مالي شغل بالسوق مريت أشوفك عطشان حفل سنين واروي على شوفك عطشان حفل سنين واروي على شوفك وشلون انا مليت وانت على بالي وشلون انا مليت وانت على بالي حتى السمك بالماي يبكي على حالي حتى السمك بالماي يبكي على حالي مالي شغل بالسوق مريت أشوفك مالي شغل بالسوق مريت أشوفك عطشان حفل سنين واروي على شوفك عطشان حفل سنين واروي على شوفك طالعة من بيت أبوها رايحة لبيت الجيران بات ما سلم عليا يمكن الحلو زعلان طالعة من بيت أبوها رايحة لبيت الجيران أيوة بات ما سلم عليا يمكن الحلو زعلان قلت لها يا حلوة رويني على عيونك ورجيني قلت لها يا حلوة رويني على عيونك ورجيني قالت لي روح يا مسكيني قالت لي روح يا مسكيني مينا ما تروي العطشان طالعة من بيت أبوها رايحة لبيت الجيران بات ما سلم عليا يمكن الحلو زعلان قلت لها يا حلوة رويني على طولك ورجيني قلت لها يا حلوة رويني على طولك ورجيني قالت لي روح يا مسكيني قالت لي روح يا مسكيني طول عيون الغزلان طالعة من بيت أبوها رايحة لبيت الجيران بات ما سلم عليا يمكن الحلو زعلان تشغل الحنايا عالمايا عالمايا عالعين يا ملايا يا بنية بالله سقيني عطشان سقيني مايا يا ويلي ويلي طولها رمحة لرداني طولها يا ويلي ويلي طولها رمحة لرداني يا ويلي ويلي طولها رمحة لرداني طولها لرداني طولها واللي حاول يطولها لا دوق المنايا عالمايا عالمايا عالعين يا ملايا يا بنية بالله سقيني عطشان سقيني ماي عالمايا عالمايا عالعين يا ملايا يا بنية بالله سقيني عطشان سقيني ماي بركشن سولو عالمايا عالمايا عالعين يا ملايا يا بنية بالله سقيني عطشان سقيني مايا عالمايا عالمايا عالعين يا ملايا يا بنية بالله سقيني عطشان سقيني مايا عطشان سقيني مايا عطشان سقيني مايا رمزي إدلبي. My name is Hadi. We're members of the Brooklyn Nomads. Thank you so much. You guys have wonderful energy. Thank you, Shireen, again. And thank you, Sriyanka, for bringing us all together. Thank you very much.
Yes, yes, thank you so much. That's what we needed. All right, so obviously we're coming to the end of our celebration of our beloved Sriyanka Ray. I just want to thank everyone who's in this room, whether you stayed in your seats and moved to your own tune or you came up here and shook your ass along with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's give it up for the Brooklyn Nomads one more time. Let's make sure we show them some love on their Instagram, whatever that is. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. I'm also sending gratitude to Sriyanka's close friends who shared so much with me and made me feel so connected to her in a whole new way, to all the professional organizations she was connected to. This evening, I got to know her again. And it's so beautiful. And we will continue to keep her in our hearts. To her family, we hold you in love. We know this is a difficult time and pray you have all you need to journey through this, and you have us. We all have our own way of processing this, but we're not alone. Our collective love for her binds us together, and we will hold our beloved Sriyanka Ray in our hearts forever. Forever. Yes. And, you know, since we still have a few minutes, well, before we do the DJ, and I don't want to, I'm being a good team player because there's so many people behind the scenes that made this possible. Rajiv and Daniel and Anjali and Gabriel Gabriel had so much to do with how beautiful this room is right now. So I would say we can take these last few moments. Feel free to have a silent moment with our LED candles. We should wrap it up. I was going to say keep the music going, but what was that, Jonathan Leaf? Oh, yes. Make sure you sign the book for her family. I have a feeling there's going to be some spillover into an after party, something somewhere, probably. We're not going to have time to do Diana Ross. I'm so sorry. I do want to be good to the people that have worked so hard here to make sure they can get home in time. But I do want to channel one thing that Tadia mentioned. Tadia Toussaint, who gave us that beautiful song. Sam Cooke, A Change Gonna Come. I always cry when that song comes on, whether it's Sam or Tadia, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. But I just want to take a moment and take maybe a minute to Tadia's kind of suggestion and just hold our beloved Sriyanka in our hearts, and let's just give her a round of applause. All right. And with that, I'll wrap this up. But this will go on forever for us. Sending you love and light. Thank you all for being here. I look forward to continuing to hold you in community. Have a good night. "15 minutes early. 15 minutes early.